It is a peculiar American trait that we celebrate stories about the land of opportunity, yet we also take a pleasure in plastering bull's eyes to the backsides of the very wealthy. As one of the wealthiest people in the world, it is no surprise that the much-heralded investor Warren Buffett has had his share of controversies over the years. The latest PR crisis for the Berkshire Hathaway CEO is his investment in Goldman Sachs and his ongoing public support for the company and its management. No one has thus far accused Buffett of any wrongdoing beyond continuing to support a management team that is quite unpopular at present. The early years. Buffett's first controversy occurred as part of the acquisition of Wesco in 1974. Buffett and his partner Charlie Munger began acquiring Wesco Financial shares in 1972 via blue chip. The two ultimately worked hard to break up a proposed acquisition of Wesco by Financial Corporation in 1973 and then spent the next 2 years acquiring a majority stake in Wesco. Ultimately, the SEC investigated this deal and Buffett's investment practices in general, obtained a consent decree from Blue Chip, and extracted a $115,000 payout from Blue Chip to Wesco shareholders for damages the SEC believed were inflicted by this maneuver. Buffett also found himself the target of antitrust charges when he acquired the Buffalo Evening News in 1977. Although Buffett and the Evening News ultimately prevailed and the antitrust proceedings seemed more like arrivals, the Buffalo Courier-Express, desperate maneuvers to use the courts to compete, it was a strenuous time and accusations were made that Buffett failed to respect prior gentlemen's agreements. More recently, more serious were the charges in 2006 against Berkshire Hathaway subsidiary General Re that it had cooperated with AIG in engaging in so-called finite reinsurance. Finite reinsurance was not really insurance per se, with a corresponding transfer of risk, but more of an accounting gimmick that allowed a company like AIG to buff the appearance of its financial reports for a period of time. While the government aggressively pursued AIG, and its chair at the time, Hank Greenberg, Berkshire Hathaway did not escape unscathed. The company paid a $92 million settlement and promised some changes to corporate governance practices. Recent events have given commentators more reasons to criticize Buffett. Berkshire Hathaway made several opportunistic investments amidst the depths of the recession and credit crisis on terms that were very advantageous to Berkshire. While these deals reflected the costs of doing business that prevailed at the time, critics have carped that these deals are exploitative. A charge with bite. If there is one ongoing controversy around Warren Buffett that can be appreciated, it is in the area of corporate governance. If you look at the board of directors of Berkshire Hathaway, it is difficult to call this an independent board, as many of its members have been long-standing friends of Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, or both. Warren Buffett is the majority owner of the company, and he wants to work with people with whom he is comfortable and who he believes shares the same sort of patient outlook that he prefers. Nevertheless, it does not change the fact that as a public company, there is an obligation to shareholders to have a strong independent board of directors. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to know more about legendary investors, then check out my previous videos, and for future updates please